the doctor. And before Earl knew he was going to be out there, I asked Earl this question. He goes, I don't even want to answer that, man. I'm not going to answer that. Yeah. Well, now, Earl, you're on the panel, so you can't avoid the question.
What was G's answer? Had G given you an answer?
No, G had not answered this from me.
Okay. So here's the question. You want to do it? Or you want
I want to ask it to you because I want all you guys to answer. Right now, today, is Joe Flacco more valuable to the Browns than Myles Garrett?
That's such a tough question.
I don't like when he do this.
Let me just put it in this perspective, and I'll tell you why my answer is as insane as this is.
I was going to say.
It's Joe Flacco.
That's who you going with.
Okay, and let me tell you why.
I'm going the opposite way, but go ahead.
Let me tell you why, because I thought about it this way. We just said the Browns are Super Bowl contenders. Mm-hmm. If Myles Garrett can't play the rest of the season, do you think the Browns are still Super Bowl contenders?
Nope.
Okay, I do.
I don't.
You don't.
I do too. I'm going to be honest.
You do too.
I don't.
I think they are.
I really don't.
I don't like their chances as much, but I think they still are. If Joe Flacco gets hurt today, are the Browns still Super Bowl contenders?
Absolutely not.
Yes.
No. What?
Yeah. You crazy.
You think they can win a Super Bowl with DTR or PJ Walker?
Yeah.
All right. Hey, listen, if those are your answers.
I believe in Kevin. I'm like the only person in this world that kind of believes in Kevin right
I love
now.
Kevin. You know that.
Y'all don't believe in him like that.
You believe in Kevin with PJ under center?
What's his record? Wait. Speaking of, Philip Walker is back on the Browns active roster.
This is insane.
Great job, Andrew. Great job.
Ridiculous.
Can you give me that PJ Walker graphic?
I'm not
one more time.
Philip on the screen.
I don't know exactly.
DTR did hurt his hip. He's out. Philip Walker's been upgraded to the active roster. The Browns also signed a punter, which I'll tell you guys about in the next segment.
Okay,
but
we'll get to the kicker and the punter in a little bit.
Anyway.
Okay, so you're obviously, based on your answers, you're taking Myles Garrett.
I'm taking Myles because this is why. The Browns have won a bunch of games without Joe Flacco. They won a decent amount of games without Joe. I think if you take Myles off, we don't know what the Browns look like without Myles. If you take Myles off, that opens up play calling. Plays that get a lot of the plays that, and Kevin said it last week on his press conference, a lot of the plays that we don't see from Myles or that happen, Myles get TFLs, Myles gets pressures. You telling me I can run to the left of the side of the field now without Myles? You telling me I don't have to spend a double team or a triple team? I can actually have more guys go out in coverage? You telling me I can do all that offensively? Oh, absolutely. Now we're going to be much more effective offensively because we don't have to sacrifice 2 or 3 guys to stop one guy. Offensively, they've been able to get things done without Joe Flacco. PJ Walker's came and done well. DTR has won games.
So PJ Walker hasn't done well. They won in spite of him.
They won the game.
They did.
It ain't that. The only difference between PJ and Joe right now,
Go ahead.
is that Joe actually is throwing more touchdowns. But he's turning the ball over every game.
That's the only difference.
He's turning the ball over every game.
That's the only difference.
PJ Walker's 1 for 5. Joe Flacco's 7 for 5 or something.
That's a huge difference.
So what? So what? He's still turning the ball over.
I know that, but he's making up for it.
All you got to do is take her. The defense is so good that just don't turn the ball over.
Just
don't turn the ball over.
They at least could run the ball a little bit when PJ Walker was playing the first. They can't run it all now.
They can't run right now. You telling me PJ Walker?
How are they going to score?
Here's my counter.
Maybe they can't. You know why they ain't running the ball well? Because they leaning on Joe Flacco. If you know why they ran the ball with PJ Walker? Because they knew that if they didn't run the ball well,
Tyvis is out of pocket.
Am I wrong?
Out of pocket.
He's absolutely wrong.
Why is the defense playing so well? Why did they play so well?
This is my
when Deshaun went down, they knew.
I hear you. But last week.
Earl, 1 second. That's all you. The chat, real quick. Tyvis, the only difference is touchdowns. I've never seen the chat go hotter than after you just said that. Just so you know. I've never seen the chat go hotter than after you said that.
They reacted
They both turned the ball over.
Had about 150 yards a game.
In that game Sunday, I seen Zadarius Smith ball out like he hasn't at any point this week, right? Over this year. Over the last 2 or 3 weeks, Alex Wright, you know what I'm saying? He's been making a little bit of noise, getting some quarterback pressures, etc. Myles Garrett has been playing good without the sacks. I'll give him that. As the quarterback pressure's been there, not really. They wasn't there the last game. We just talked about the culture. We just talked about this plug and play. Jim Schwartz set the tone with this defense back in the preseason. They've been playing like this back in the preseason.
Earl,
So
I know you're not about to say. I know you ain't. I know you're
All
not
I'm saying
alluding
is-
to what I think. Wait a minute.
All
hold
I'm
on.
saying is,
Wait a minute.
all I'm
Hold on. Are
no.
you sitting there telling
You
me?
telling me the only
Wait a
difference
minute.
between P.J. Walker
Are you telling
and
me?
Flacco was the touchdown?
Are you telling me right now that if Myles Garrett sat on the sideline, you be okay with Zadarius Smith and Alex Wright at DN? Is that what you're
I
telling
would.
me?
I'm more
Are
okay
you
with-
insane? You know why?
You know what they-
do you,
oh
wait a minute.
my
Do you
God.
know why they're able to do that?
I
Because
know why.
Myles
Because
Garrett is
Myles
taking on a
Garrett.
double team, triple team all the
But
time.
and you think P.J.
They
Walker gonna take us to the Super Bowl?
He won games.
Oh,
all
my
I said was he
goodness.
won
This
games.
is ridiculous.
Did he not win games?
Tyvis is outside of his mind,
Is
man.
P.J. Walker not a winner?
Oh my goodness. Zadarius Smith that had all these sacks his whole damn career.
Mikey McNuggets.
Oh,
Many games did
Is P.J.
win?
Walker
This is
a winner or
ridiculous.
not, career-wise?
this is ridiculous.
Is he not a
Give me
winner?
one
My
sec.
daughter just texted me, Dad, Tyvis crazy.
All I need to know, y'all can say whatever you want to say. I just need to know
Wait,
is
now let me say
career-wise,
Are we giving P.J. Walker the Colts game?
yes, we are. He played the whole
Yes.
game.
6-10 as a starter in his career.
He's what?
6-4 as a starter in 10 games.
Okay. Tyvis, let me say something because
I
I
rest
agree.
my case.
There's a lot in what
rest.
you said that was actually true.
It's
And
accurate.
It's
It's factual.
It's getting lost in your PJ Walker insanity. Your argument
His
about
name is Phillip.
your argument about why the other guys are able to have success is dead on. You're right.
Thank you.
The reason they're able to have success is because Myles Garrett.
Factual.
Those guys are nowhere close to Myles Garrett. And the Browns' chances of winning I was about to say the World Series. The Browns' chances of winning the Super Bowl without Myles Garrett would go down, no doubt. He's the second most important player. He's the best player
You
on the
said
team.
the what?
But right now,
Wait a minute, hold
on
on.
this team,
Wait a minute.
on this team in this unique circumstance, Tyvis, Joe Flacco's more important because the offense right now, without Joe Flacco, would be the worst offense in the
It
league.
would be non-existent.
Bull.
It would be
Listen,
non-existent.
Wait a minute.
You know what? I'm going to take that back. Not the worst in the league because I love Kevin Stefanski, and he'd make it like the 23rd offense.
Bull.
Wouldn't be the
What
worst.
is their offensive rate right now?
I'll say
In
this.
terms of what?
In terms of what? Since Flacco's
A
taken
total
over?
offense.
I haven't done the numbers, but I do the game stats every week before we come on the show. Each week that I do the team-by-team stats, I've seen the points per game, pass yards per game, those numbers literally elevate like 3 or 4 spots every single
That's
week.
fine, but this is what this y'all some hypocrites, and I gotta put my phone down.
Oh, look at that.
Listen, y'all. All right, Steve, let me see that. Thank you. Y'all know that this
Not him,
season,
Steve, cool.
any other season in the NFL, y'all can literally sit there and tell me that this year proves that you might be able to win with an average quarterback. Okay, quarterback, we might have been overrating it a little bit because there's been so many different quarterbacks that's got hurt this year, and yet these teams are still finding ways to win games, right?
Some
True.
teams.
Okay.
Most of the better teams still
You can
have good
say
quarterbacks.
you
though.
can say pretty much this season that the teams with the better defense are pretty much the top of the NFL right now.
I mean, the best team in football is the Ravens, and Lamar Jackson's playing great.
What about the defense?
So their defense is playing great too.
Their
You got
defense lead
both.
the
What
league
about
in,
San Francisco?
sacks.
Well, until yesterday,
What
Brock
about the-
Purdy was playing great.
What about the Cleveland Browns?
That's fair with the
So
Browns.
you would be so
Buffalo
I
quarterback.
don't think I'm stepping out on a limb by saying
Okay.
that this year that I think that more times than not defense probably gonna win championships.
No, but you stepping out there saying, Phillip, you
Wait a minute, answer the question.
Is
No,
defense
you're
gonna
not.
win a
Okay,
championship?
You're not.
Is defense going? Do
There's
you
a
think
chance this
if
year it
you?
will.
Okay, thank
I
you.
think there's a chance it will.
Okay,
Yes.
now we
That's-
move.
that's
We
factual.
progressing in the right direction.
But
thank
I
you.
think you could win it with a mid-tier quarterback, which right now I'd actually say Joe Flacco's playing better than that, but he's at least playing like a mid-tier quarterback.
Why do you?
PJ Walker's the worst quarterback. in
All I
football.
heard
Wait a minute. This don't
Yeah.
make no sense.
Go
So
ahead.
why? So you can win it with a mid-tier quarterback because of what?
Defense.
Thank you.
Okay.
So how you gonna take away the best player on the defense?
Because-
and think you
all
gonna
right.
get the results?
Phillip, no, bro.
Hey,
They're one. You act like
Phillip-
I can see if they lost every game. with
Tyvis,
Phillip.
all I'm saying is if the Browns lost Flacco or Garrett, they're probably not going to win the Super Bowl.
That's fact.
Probably not.
That's fact.
However, I would give them a better chance with no Garrett and Flacco than I would with no Flacco and Garrett.
Give me
That's how I see it.
Zadarius. If I had Zadarius Smith and Alex Wright on the end, and I didn't have Myles Garrett and I still have Flacco, I trust that the Browns can still do
The
everything
Browns,
they need to do.
the Browns would still have a lot of talent on defense. Obviously, it would hurt them without Myles Garrett, but they would still have a lot of talent. On offense, the offense is dead now without Joe Flacco. It's dead. They have no running game.
It wasn't dead without him before.
But at least they could run the ball a little early in the season.
They could find a way to get that done again.
You know
why they will get it done? Wait till Leroy.
You
know why they'll find a way to get it done?
Leroy,
because they know that's their only chance to win the game.
Is David Njoku and Amari Cooper still balling out like this with PJ Walker?
No.
They getting a bunch of targets.
But are they balling out like this?
I don't know what their numbers was.
Njoku
was not. Amari Cooper was Amari Cooper throw the check
The
down.
Browns could be averaging -3 yards per carry, and Leroy would still say run the ball. That is
not true.
That is 100% true. By the way, who would have guessed, DeJuan Jones being out has made a big deal in terms of the running game. I mean,
which is funny because at the beginning of the year,
his grades weren't good.
It was terrible. He was good in the pass game.
But look, even this week, I'm sidebarring a little bit, but this week, the offensive line did a great job.
Yeah, they did.
In terms of the pass blocking. So how can I totally blame them in the running game?
They didn't have Will Anderson, and they didn't have their second best passer.
Joe Flacco did not get sacked.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
When you don't have Will Anderson,
they should have been
able to run the ball. Jerome Ford runs sideways.
Wait a minute. The Texans ranked 6th in the run defense. Now, that don't mean nothing.
Yeah, but they were without their 2 best defensive linemen. I know they
that's on the end.
Tackles.
The tackles make the difference.
Speaking of which, Anthony wasn't too crazy. Remember the first fence rider question he had? Browns, it was like 50 yards.
Yeah.
We ran for 54 yards as a team.
Yeah, that's true.
He wasn't too crazy with that.
Go ahead, Mike.
I have the poll result from this, by the way. And this has been – I don't always follow the chat, but there's no Myles versus Flacco comparison graphic, so I was kind of keeping an eye on this. Very, very, very entertaining chat on this. Tyvis, the reaction to touchdowns don't matter was epic.
That's not what I – No, y'all took it out of context.
All I heard was –
That's not what I said.
All I heard was the only thing Flacco do better than Phillip, and I lost it. He lost me as soon as he said
You sabotage yourself because your overall argument.
The way he set it up was like
your overall argument was a solid argument, but that was so crazy.
They took it out of context.
I said it. What do you mean
all I said I said the biggest difference. I didn't say it didn't matter. I didn't say it didn't matter. I said that was the difference.
What matters more?
Bull.
Go ahead.
The biggest difference between the Panthers and the Browns are the wins.
Yeah, that's it.
That's the only difference.
That's all we heard. It was like, wait a minute.
You sabotaged.
We put it in the chat, and this, when the chat is even on something or pretty close to even, I think it's a fun topic. I enjoyed listening to this.
Yeah.
55 Flacco, 45 Garrett.
Yeah,
over 500 votes.
It's
45% of people that understand what I'm saying.
It should be close.
Y'all sick for just taking what I said and taking it out of context because that's not what I said.
You did it to yourself.
All I said was the biggest difference between
your
the two
argument was very solid.
Touchdowns.
You had a very solid argument. I agree with a lot of what you said.
So I should have said that last.
But you blew it with the first one. You blew it with that first one.
It was like,
next time.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Hey.
All right, Mikey, what do we got?